Okay, welcome back to our political science class, session number 1 today. Okay, so just open your textbook. We will directly discuss things from the textbook so far. Just give me a moment. Hope you are able to see the screen. Hello? The screen is visible or not? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about the different fundamental rights and its importance. Okay, so listen carefully. Moving forward. So I think we are here, equality of all religions. Before that, we discussed up to here freedom of faith and worship. Freedom of faith and worship. Okay, so the state government or the judiciary is able to interfere in the religious activities. Okay, so no religion is able to practice something that is against the morality of the society. Okay, example, human sacrifice, sati, bigamy, like that. Okay, so it is not possible to practice by the religion. The government will interfere in that. The limitation on the right of freedom of religion always produce a tension between followers of various religions and the government. When the government seeks to restrict some activities of a religious group, people of that religion feel that this is interference in their religion. So government is interfering in religious activity and making that religion to stop such activities that is against the society. The people, those who are believing in that religion, will think that the government is against them. Okay, so freedom of religion become a matter of political controversy for yet another reason. So freedom of religion always will create a political controversy. Okay, or controversies always. The constitution has guaranteed the right to propagate one's religion. So constitution giving a right to each and every individual to propagate his or her religion. Okay, to circulate. Okay, this includes persuading people to convert from one religion to another. Okay, conversion of the religion. Okay, making people to jump or move from one religion to another. Okay. Or forcing them, it is not a good one actually. However, some people resent the conversion on the ground that these are based on the intimidation or inducement. The constitution does not allow forcible conversions. Okay, so forcible conversion is not allowed by the government. We are able to propagate our religion, but no need to convert anyone forcefully from one religion to another. It only gives us the right to spread information about our religion and thus attract others to it. So we can spread the information about our religion. Okay, if other people are attracted with that information, definitely if they're joining, so we can welcome them, but should not force anyone to join in any religion. Okay, let's show an equality of all the religions. Equality. Being a country which is home to several religions, it is necessary that the government must extend equal treatment to different religions. Negatively, it means that the government will not favor any particular religion. Clear or not? Clear. So the government is not in favor of any particular religion, not supporting any religion, right? All religions are our religion. Okay. We are supporting all the religions. Okay. Clear or not? Yes or no? Indian secularism is what we can say. In the present politics, most of the political thinkers will use that Indian politics and secularism in India. It's just a comedy. Clear or not? So vote bank politics is there. Almost all the politicians, they will always try to please these religious groups to get votes. Okay, just understand that also. Clear? The religions are considering as vote banks. Clear? It means that the government will not favor any particular religion. So the constitution says no government should favor any particular religion. But in a practical sense, we are able to see number of governments are there. They are calculating their share of votes on the basis of religion. Clear? Hmm? The share of vote on the basis of religion. Don't have to belong to any particular religion in order to become a prime minister or president or judge of any other public official. Clear? Another thing. Okay. What is that? We don't want to belong any particular religion or part of a religion to become a president or prime minister or the judge in a or any other public office. We have also seen that under the right to equality, there is a guarantee that government will not discriminate on the basis of religion in giving employment. Okay. The institution run by the state will not preach any religion or give religious education, nor will they favor persons of any religion. The objective of these provisions is to sustain and nurture the principles of secularism. So, government is not supporting any religion. Okay, if you want to be in any office in India or to become a good officer or a bureaucrat, you don't want to belong in a particular religion. Whatever may be the religion, the government want to treat everyone equally. Clear? That's it. So, equality of all religion. There is no special provisions are there for any particular religion or religion have the same chances. Clear. Next one, cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights in India. When we talk of Indian society, the image of diversity comes before our minds. Clear. Diversity. Unity in diversity is the primary slogan that what we use in the time of our national movement or after independence also we use the same slogan, unity in diversity. So different cultures, different languages, different religions. Okay, so India is not made up of a monolithic society, not a single society. Okay, monolithic means that created in one single stone. It's called be monolithic. Lith means stone. Mono means single. Monolithic society. Monolithic society is not like that. Indian society is not at all not like that. So there is a capture there for Indian tourism. You know what is that? That it has been capture for Indian tourism. Incredible India. What is that? Incredible India. Unbelievable India. Yes, of course. We cannot believe it. That many cultures are there. That many religions are there. That many food habits are there. Okay. If you are moving from one side, I mean, the southern districts of Kerala to the northern district of Kerala, we are able to see different dialects there. Single language, but different dialects. Clear? Variations are there. Food habit also will change. Culture of the people will change. Clear? Understand? For a single small state like Kerala, we are able to find this many differences. Okay, what about a country called India? Too many differences are there. Cultural variations are there. Then also we will use the term, what is that? Unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. We are a society that has vast diversity. In such a society that is full of diversity, there would be a social sections which are small in number compared to some other groups. If a group is in minority, will it have to adopt a culture of the majority? Okay, so we are able to find a number of small societies, okay, on the basis of their culture. But the majority people or the majority group, they cannot insist or force the minority to accept the culture of the majority. Clear? Understand? The majority don't have the right to force the minority to accept their culture or follow the same culture of the majority. Cannot do that because the government or the constitution protecting them with a fundamental right. What is that? Cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. Clear? So if a group is a minority, will it have to adopt the culture of the majority? Not at all. Our constitution believes that diversity is our strength. Of course, diversity is our strength. Amal, observe the textbook, read the textbook. Therefore, one of the fundamental rights is the right to minorities, right of the minorities to maintain their culture. So all the minorities have the same right. What is that? Protect their culture, practice their culture. Okay. This minority status is not dependent only upon religion. Okay, not only the religious minorities or majority, linguistic and cultural minorities are there. Linguistic and cultural minorities. Number of languages are there in India. I already told you that more than 400 dialects are there in our country, right? Different languages are there. The languages with scripts, languages without script, like that various languages are there. So some language groups can say it is small in number, small in a number. At the same time, they are free or they have the right to enjoy their culture or practice their culture. So minorities are groups that have common language or religion and in a particular part of the country or in the country as a whole. So we are able to find such kind of people there. This kind of minorities, those who are minorities related with the language or the religion. Okay, we are able to find such kind of people in one locality. Example, Punjab, right? What is the religion of most of the people in Punjab? In Punjab, we are able to find almost all the religions there because it's a part of India, India. But the major language of that, major religion of that state is, what is that? What about Sikhism? Okay, Sikhs, right? Sikh. Okay, clear. And their language, it is Punjabi, right? Punjabi, clear. So we are able to find them in that locality. Okay, but not only there, we are able to find these Punjabi people or people from Punjab everywhere in India. Okay, they are spreading or they are working in different part of our country, right? Okay, if you are observing the Hollywood movies, okay, you are able to find this kind of people with a special attire, Punjabi attire, that to show or to indicate Indian representation. Clear or not? Okay, just keep that idea in your mind there. Okay, so minorities are there. They are outnumbered by some other social section. Such communities have a culture, language, and script of their own, and have the right to conserve and develop these. Okay, so the people, those who are following a particular religion or a particular language, they have all right to protect their religion and protect their culture, even their language. All minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions. We already know that. They have the right, all the minority. I use the term they. Sometimes we also the part of the minority only, right or not? Okay, different things in the country that makes minorities and majorities. Okay, so related with the language, we are minority, right? Yes or no? Of course. Comparing with the languages called Hindi, we are minorities. Okay, so all minorities, religious or linguistic in the sense language related. Okay, can set up their own educational institutions. By doing so, they can preserve and develop their own culture. I already told you that all the minorities have the right to start educational institutions to protect their culture. Okay. While granting aid to education institutions, discriminate against an education institution on the basis that it is under the management of minority community. Okay, so no government should discriminate the institutions, educational institutions, on the basis of the community who run it or who runs that. Clear? Understand? Is that idea clear? That's it. Educational and cultural rights. Cultural rights there. Next one, right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. So one would agree that our constitution contains a very impressive list of fundamental rights, but merely writing down a list of rights is not enough. So fundamental rights are the important part of the constitution that protecting the will of the people, okay, and helping the people to lead a dignified and secure life in the society. Clear? There has to be a way through which they could be realized in practice and defended against any attack on these rights there. So, not only the fundamental rights, there should be a provision to protect the fundamental rights. That's what the right to constitutional remedies. Clear? To protect the fundamental rights. Right to constitutional remedies is the means through which that is to be achieved. So, right to constitutional remedies, they are the protector, or this provision is the protector of the fundamental rights. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar considered the right to constitutional remedies as heart and soul of the Constitution. Underline that. So, as per Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, okay, the right to constitutional remedies considering as the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution, right? Heart and soul of the Indian Constitution. It is so because this right gives a citizen the right to approach the High Court or the Supreme Court. So each and every citizens have the right to approach the High Court or the Supreme Court to get any of the fundamental rights restored in case of their violation. If any particular individual or the government itself violating the fundamental rights of a citizen, the citizen have the right to approach the Supreme Court or the High Court or the Supreme Court to restore his rights. Clear? to get back his rights. That's what right into constitutional remedies. Okay, here the Supreme Court and the High Courts can issue orders to give directives to the government for the enforcement of rights. So Supreme Court or High Court can give suggestions or directions to the government to follow or protect the fundamental rights. The courts can issue various special orders. So here come writs. Okay, the courts, the high courts or Supreme Court can issue various orders known as writs. Okay, the orders that made by the High Court or Supreme Court to the governments or to the lower courts is basically termed as writs. WRITS, writs. So what are they here? 5 writs are mentioned: habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, certiorari. Okay, so these 5 writs are important for we people: habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, certiorari. Certiorari. Clear? These are the writs related with the right to constitutional remedies. Constitutional remedies. These writs or orders can provide by the High Court or Supreme Court to the government or to the lower court to protect the rights of the people. Rights of the people. So we will discuss one by one. Okay. First of all, what is habeas corpus? Habeas corpus. Okay. Here, corpus means the body. Okay. A writ of habeas corpus means that the court orders that the arrested person should be presented before it. Should be presented before the court. That's what habeas corpus. Okay. It is against an arbitrary arrest. What do you mean arbitrary arrest? Already we know that in some cases, the government has the right to arrest the people and keep them in custody, called to be preventive detention. Preventive detention. In such cases, it is exceeding more than 3 months. The relatives of the person, okay, those who are arrested by the police, can approach the High Court or the Supreme Court to issue this order to the police department or the state government. Is basically termed as habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. Okay. So what is that? A writ of habeas corpus means that the court orders that the arrested person should be presented before the court. Okay. It can also order to set free an arrested person if the manner or grounds of arrest are not lawful or satisfactory. At the same time, the arrest is not lawful. It is not legal. Okay. It is just an arbitrary arrest. Okay. So the Supreme Court or the High Court can order to leave that person free. Clear? That's what habeas corpus. Habeas corpus. Next one, mandamus. Mandamus. This writ is issued when the court finds that a particular office holder is not doing legal duty and thereby is infringing on the right of an individual. So mandamus, it is nothing but if a government official is not doing his duty properly to protect the rights of the individuals in the society, the court can give an order to that particular individual or the government to make him do his job properly. This writ is issued when the court finds that a particular office holder is not doing legal duty and thereby is infringing on the right of the individual. Is not doing the duty and creating problem for the rights of the individual. Okay, other fundamental rights. Clear? So court can order to do the work properly and complete that in time. That is basically termed as mandamus. Mandamus. Okay, that clear? Individual questions are there. Write a short note upon habeas corpus. What is mandamus? What is prohibition? What is quo warranto? What is certiorari? Certiorari. Here next one, prohibition. Prohibition. So prohibiting, prohibition. Stopping someone to do something is basically termed as prohibition, right? So prohibition. This writ is issued by a higher court, basically High Court or the Supreme Court, when a lower court has considered a case going beyond its jurisdiction. Okay, so local courts have some limitations. They can handle the case within the or within its jurisdiction, within the territory of that local courts. Clear? They are unable to deal the problems between the states. Clear? Or problem between the state and the individuals. Clear? Or international affairs. Local courts cannot hold such kind of issues. right or not? They are unable to take or give judgment the issues related with international, national, or dispute between the states on water. Okay, local courts cannot take any decisions. Okay, such kind of cases, okay, the Supreme Court or High Court will prohibit the local court to function or take decision in such kind of cases, right? For example, there is a water dispute between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Anyway, the municipal court or the district court of Trichur will not take any decision related with that issue. Clear? If that court is try to do something, the High Court will give an order or the Supreme Court will give an order. Even High Court also cannot do that because it's an issue between the states. So Supreme Court want to participate or Supreme Court want to take a decision. Even High Courts also cannot take decisions there. So Supreme Court will give an order to the Thrissur Magistrate Court or District Court that it is out of your jurisdiction. It is issue between the states. So you should not do it. That's called to be prohibition. Prohibition. Understand? There it is issued by a higher court, basically the High Court or the Supreme Court, when a lower court has considered a case going beyond its jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means an area under control. Jurisdiction, an area under control. Clear or not? Clear or not? So, example, we can say that constituencies, right? So, MLAs and MPs, they are elected from their own constituency. So, their power is limited in that area only, right? Clear? Okay, like that, courts also. Example, District Court of Thrissur, it can handle the cases within that district, right? High Court of Kerala can handle the cases within the state. Supreme Court of India can handle the cases within the country, right? International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice can handle international cases, right? Dispute between the countries or problems between the countries can handle by the International Court of Justice. Clear? Clear. But they are not following Indian Constitution, International Court of Justice. They have their own rights and constitution is there that is agreed by almost all the countries in the United Nations organization. Clear? Don't think that International Court of Justice is following Indian Constitution. Okay, just understand the another rules and regulations are there. Okay, next one, prohibition completed, habeas corpus completed, mandamus completed. Next one it is quo warranto. Quo warranto. Okay, so quo warranto, if the court finds that a person is holding office but is not entitled, okay, he is not qualified, clear, entitled to hold that office, it issues the writ of quo warranto and restricts that person from acting as an office holder. So a person who doesn't have the proper degrees to become or to hold that power or to control that office, okay, the court can issue an order basically termed as quo warranto and make that person away from his power. Okay, clear or not? That's called the quo warranto. Quo warranto. Okay, last and final one here it is a certiorari. Certiorari. Certiorari means nothing but under this writ, the court orders a lower court or another authority to transfer a matter pending before it to the higher authority or court. Okay, so local courts, sometimes they are unable to complete the task. The assignment in the sense of the cases. Okay, clear? Out of their control, they are unable to do that. That time, the higher courts can provide a writ. Okay, they can make a writ and ask the lower court to transfer such kind of pending matters to the higher authority. Higher authority. Clear? That's going to be certiorari. What is that? Certiorari. So, the right to constitutional remedies are basically considering as the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and all these writs are helpful for each and every individual in the country to enjoy all other fundamental rights. Okay, all other 5 fundamental rights. So, right to constitutional remedies is protecting the fundamental rights of the people. Okay, all other 5 fundamental rights of the people, right? Okay, so apart from the judiciary, many other mechanisms have been created in later years for the protection of rights. You may have heard about the National Commission on Minorities to protect the will or welfare of the minorities. Minority Protection Council is there. National Commission on Minorities. Okay, minority religions or minority cultural groups or linguistic groups, to protect them, a council or commission is there to protect the minorities, named as National Commission on Minorities. Next one, National Commission on Women, to protect the interest of women. Next one, the National Commission for Scheduled Caste, for what we can say, backward, I mean economically or socially backward classes like the scheduled classes, to protect them. A National Commission on Scheduled Caste also existing. These institutions protect the rights of women, minorities or Dalits. Besides, the National Human Rights Commission has also been established by law to protect the fundamental and other kinds of rights. Okay, so these many councils are there. The same time, National Human Rights Commission, NHRC is there in the central level to protect the rights of each and every individual in the country, to protect the human rights in the country. Okay, state Human Rights Commission also existing. Okay, so National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. The real test of the rights given by an constitution is in their actual implementation. Okay, so real test for any constitution is nothing but the implementation of rules and regulation. The poor, illiterate, and the deprived sections of the society must be able to exercise their rights. So the constitution want to protect the rights of the poor people, the illiterate, and the deprived sections, weaker sections like women and scheduled caste and even children. Okay, the society must be able to exercise their rights. Independent organization like the People's Union for Civil Liberties. Okay, so it's an independent organization in India, People's Union for Civil Liberties, PUCL, or People's Union for Democratic Rights, PUDR. It's an independent organization functioning to improve the welfare of these deprived classes, women, minorities. Okay, have been working as a watchdog against the violation of rights. So these organizations are functioning as watchdogs. They are always observing what is going on. If anything happening in the society against these minorities, religious minorities, linguistic minorities, women, children, or scheduled caste or tribes, these organizations will interfere in that and try to or they will fight for their rights. In this background, the government has established in 1993 an institution, National Human Rights Commission, to protect the right of individuals in the country. There is a association or organization that made by the government. It is termed as National Human Rights Commission. The National Human Rights Commission, that's in the year 1993. Okay, so National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, is composed of the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So composition of NHRC. Okay, former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India, a former Judge of the Supreme Court, a former Chief Justice of High Court, and two other members who has knowledge and practical experience in matters relating human rights. Okay, this is the composition of Human Rights Commission. How many people will be there? Okay, former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India, okay, a former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, a former Chief Justice of the High Court, any High Court in India, and two other members. Okay, High Courts means each and every state have High Courts, right or not? They are on High Courts, but some states have a single High Court also. Clear? Find it out. Okay, a former Chief Justice of High Court and two other members who have knowledge and practical experience in matters relating the human rights. The Commission's functions include an inquiry at its own initiative or on a petition presented to it by a victim into complaint a violation of human rights, visit to jails to study the condition of the inmates, undertaking and promoting research in the field of human rights, etc. These are the activities of the Human Rights Commission. Okay. Checking the petitions, visiting the jails and understanding the problems of the inmates there. Okay, clear. The Commission receives the complaints in thousands every year. These related to custodial death. Custodial death, what is that? Custodial death means police will arrest some people and in custody, the people will die. Okay, the accused may die. So that is called to be the custodial death, coming under, what we can say, a preventive detention, okay, or arbitrary arrest. Custodial rape, what do you can say, disappearances. Okay, people will disappear. Okay, so such kind of cases we can give to the National Human Rights Commission. Police excesses means the bad activities of the police department, failure in taking action by the police, indignity of to women, okay, bad behavior. Its most significant intervention has been on disappeared youth in Punjab, an investigation and trial of Gujarat right cases where intervention proved effective. So Human Rights Commission that participated, I mean, they acted in the case of disappeared youth in Punjab. Okay, and the Gujarat right case, Gujarat right case. So related with that, various controversial issues are there. Okay, Human Rights Commission, they find a number of people they are guilty, but today they are in powerful political positions. Okay, let it. We are not discussing something like that. Okay, the Gujarat right cases. The commission does not have the power of prosecution. So, Human Rights Commission don't have the power to prosecute anyone, to give punishment to anyone. It can merely make a recommendation to the government or recommend it to the courts to initiate, initiate proceeding based on the inquiry that it conducts. So the National Human Rights Commission can suggest to the courts or the government to take actions as per its finding. Clear? So they don't have the right to take any decision or give any punishment, but they can only give a suggestions. Clear? Clear or not? So Human Rights Commission is an important part for this chapter. Want to learn that properly. Okay, next. We are going to the next section. Sorry. Okay, directive principles of state policy. Very important part. Okay, it's important part in the Constitution of India. The directive principles of state policy. Okay, here. Are you following? Hello. That is clear or not? Okay, so reading from the textbook and explaining, so thinking that it is somewhat easier. I mean, it is helpful for you if you are observing the textbook clearly and underline the things properly. It is helpful for you to understand the things. Okay, clear? So moving forward with the directive principles of state policy, I read in the textbook because these parts are too important for us. Okay, clear? The makers of our constitution knew that independent India was going to face many challenges in the future. The foremost among these was the challenges to bring about equality and well-being of all citizens. So the makers of the Indian Constitution, they already came to know that in future, the Constitution, the government, or the people of the country will face a problem. What is that? Equal treatment. Okay, and the well-being of all citizens. They also thought that certain policy direction was required for handling this problem. So they thought, we want to create some special provisions in the Constitution to protect the well-being of the people. Okay. At the same time, the Constitution did not want future governments to be bounded by certain policy decisions. At the same time, the Constitution did not want future government to be bounded by certain policy decisions. Okay, related with the Constitution. Okay, they want to function for the development of the people. Okay, not only simply accepting the rules and regulation, they have to do something for the people, the benefit of the people. Therefore, some guidelines were incorporated in the Constitution, but they were not made legally enforceable. Okay. This means that if a government did not implement a particular guideline, we cannot go to the court asking the court to instruct the government to implement that policy. Okay, such kind of suggestions are there in the Constitution. The suggestions is that to the government. Government want to do it. Okay, but no individual citizens can go to the court and say that government is not doing this thing that mentioned in the Constitution. Clear or not? Sometimes government also will face some problem there. Example, a right to life, right to property. So, for right to property, it was a fundamental right. Everyone can approach the court and ask for land, right? Yes or no? Or ask for property, right? Yes or no? Of course, but it is nowadays just a right. So no one can approach the court for the same. Thus, these guidelines are non-justiciable. That is, part of the constitution that cannot be enforced by the judiciary. Some part of the constitution cannot be enforced by the judiciary. It cannot be interpreted by the judiciary. Those who framed the constitution thought that the moral force behind these guidelines would ensure the government would take them seriously. So the constitution makers know that it is only for the governments. The government want to take care. Judiciary cannot do anything for the development of the people. It is the government. They are able to take decisions for the well-being of the people. So, the judiciary cannot interfere in that. Okay. Besides, they expected that the people would also hold the government responsible for implementing these directives. So, a separate list of policy guidelines is included in the constitution. So, a separate list of policy guidelines for the government that is included in the constitution. Okay, the government want to accept it and want to do it, but we are unable to go against the government if the government is not doing so. The list of these guidelines is called the directive principles of the state policy. Directive principles of the state policy. Clear? What is directive principles of the state policy? A perfect list is mentioned in the constitution. The government want to do that. If the government is becoming a failure to do so, we are unable to approach the court against the governments. Clear? This list is just made or included in the constitution. It is for the governments. Government want to function and they want to act for the well-being of the people. So they can create various plans. They can create a various plans. Judiciary will not interfere. Judiciary will not interfere in that. Is that clear? It is called the directive principles of the state policy. Okay. Now, what do the directive principles contain? What are the things are there in that list? So we know that what are the fundamental rights. Clear. We know that what are the writs, and it is important to study what are the things that are containing in the directive principles of the state policy. Okay. The chapter on directive principles itself mainly three things. The goals and objectives that we as a society should adopt. Clear? The goals, aims, objectives, what we want to do to achieve the goals. That we as a society should adopt. The entire society want to participate in that decision making. Certain rights that individuals should enjoy apart from the fundamental rights. Okay, so each and every individual in the country can enjoy some rights apart from the fundamental rights. Fundamental right is compulsory, right? Certain policies that the government should adopt. Okay, the government would adopt some policy for the well-being of the people. What are they? All these kind of things are included in the directive principles of the state policy. So you may get some idea of the vision of makers of our constitution by looking at some of the directive principles shown below. So we are going to discuss that. Okay. So please join in class number 10, studio room number 10 within 5 minutes. We will continue that. Okay. Okay, everyone. Thank you.